Oh, nice.
Never saw that happening.
Good shit.
We never see it coming.
Nah,
But it's gonna come regardless.
I never saw that happen.
Yeah.
Bro, like for real. But I'm excited by it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you some shit that I'm working on.
Oh, facts, for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You and T still together?
Yeah.
Oh, fire! I knew when they just got together.
Oh, really? You was there?
When they just got together.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think y'all knew each other before, or y'all met?
We did. We knew each other before, but it was still like that was very early.
Yeah.
Very early. So
Yeah.
it was like I don't even know if we knew each other for a whole year.
Yeah. Well, they both basically was working on the same podcast.
Okay.
Which was my podcast. It was Hard or Soft at the time.
Got
They
you.
were both working on the same podcast, and then come to find out they were together.
And so you didn't even know they was together until they revealed.
I mean, not long after,
Right.
but like it was just like, oh wow, so now we got a couple working for us.
Right. But that's fire though.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
It was literally great.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You see that?
Just magnificent.
You know what? Yeah, the solo
Simply
angles is
magnificent.
giving something different.
It's just always thinking about a solo.
Yeah. The skin is glowing.
Yeah.
Everything's flowing.
You're the second person to tell me that tonight. My skin is glowing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Was Mac the first?
Of course.
And how was
we just recorded an episode?
I was about to say, how was it?
Yeah, it's me.
It's always gonna be great.
Yeah, exactly. And you see how I said it's me, and you responded with "it's great." This means I didn't have to say it was great. I just had to say it was me. Perspective on how you speak.
Okay.
Rolling,
Ready?
You want to jump right in? You want to count down?
We could do a countdown.
All right, so I'm gonna put it on you.
Cool.
All right, got the countdown coming in live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up, y'all? You were listening to your Mental Matters podcast. I'm your girl Mo, and we're back with another episode. And for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. We got a special guest in here. I'm gonna have him introduce himself because I don't want to butcher anything he has going on. But Orlando, welcome to the pod.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I am Orlando, aka Horlando, aka the Big Dick Bad Bitch, aka Thick Dick McNick. I'm the CEO of Ho, and I'm backpacking the circumcised Kraken. That was my intro. The intro you want?
You know what? Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Orlando. But yeah, thank you for one, thank you so much for joining me on the pod.
Again.
Like this is like kind of like a full circle moment reunion type of thing because me and Orlando, we did record an episode on your Mental Matters podcast.
Yeah.
About it's been a few years. I want to say maybe around 2018.
It had to be 2018 before the world ended.
Yes,
this was when came back.
This one was everything was regular, right? Yeah. And we actually had met. We initially met at a mixer. It was like a podcast mixer. Yeah. I remember a few other like well-known podcasters were there. And yeah, we kind of just started speaking very organically. And then I was like, yeah, like I would love to have you on a pod. This was very early when I just started.
Yeah.
And then we set it up and the podcast was great. Like you were I just remember from that time you being very vulnerable, very transparent about like you and your life and your experiences.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that mental health is actually my top 3 favorite conversations to have, other than like sports and something else. But but I wasn't in the mental health space at the time, so actually being asked to come on to like speak about it, I was super excited.
Yeah,
just to talk about like my mind and mentality and wellness and stuff like that. And funny enough, I think about a question that you asked me. I can't remember the question exactly, but it was something like, how do you like keep your mind peaceful, or what like actions you do? And I was like, masturbate, right? Because it gives me like that sense of clarity or whatever.
Yep.
And funny enough, I honestly can't remember the question, but I remember being asked that question by you.
Yes.
And then responding with masturbate, right?
Yep.
Because I knew it, but I was never asked it to like even give it an answer.
That part.
And so there's certain times where I would think about that answer, and I've basically like upgraded that method. So what I would do, the point of me telling you this is because you asked me that question like how long ago, and I wanted to remember that question, that answer also prompted me to do like masturbation type ceremonies, right? Whenever I want to release traumatic experiences, or not traumatic experience, but like this anything heavy on me, and if I need to do something to like release, let go,
Yep.
forgive, whatever the case, I would masturbate, but it would be more like in a masturbation ceremony.
Interesting.
So what I would do is, as I'm masturbating, I'm speaking to my dick.
Yo, Orlando. No, hold on, pause. Before you even continue, I remember when we had this episode and you did say this,
Yeah.
I was so taken aback. I was like,
Yeah.
but I think that also made me like look at you and be like, wow, like the vulnerability and the transparency I've never seen before.
Right.
Like that. So I think like, and now you saying it, because I remember us having a conversation, everything is like coming back to me.
Now, right?
And I'm like, you
yeah,
really
I still
did.
remember us in that room and everything standing
Yeah,
across to each
yes.
other. So what I would do is, as I'm masturbating, I would speak to my dick, and I would it's like a check-in. I'm talking to my dick like it's actual person or whatever, or I'm actually having a conversation with responses.
Yeah.
But the responses I'm getting is how I feel and what my body is telling me. So as I'm masturbating and I'm talking to my penis about how I feel about this traumatic experience or whatever I'm trying to let go,
Yeah.
I envision the release of that issue within myself being gone as I'm coming. So I'm physically coming, but I'm also envisioning and thinking about this issue or whatever is on my mind or my chest as releasing from my body. I no longer feel attached to that trauma, that problem, or that issue. And that's how I've like used masturbation. Like I said, I use masturbation like for clarity or letting things go.
Yep.
That's how I use it in a ceremonial aspect or a sexual ceremony or masturbation ceremonial aspect.
That's
to
cool.
like let go of like ill feelings or anything that I don't want to like sit within my body.
Got you.
Anything that's like not meant or not healthy for me.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's all about like doing the whole thing. It's the masturbating. It's the speaking about it. It's also envisioning, not letting go, but envisioning yourself letting this issue go.
Yeah.
And what does letting this issue go look like for me? If this issue comes up again, am I triggered by it? Or am I going to envision myself triggered by it and then having a healthy way of like going about this issue than just like shutting down or like feeling angry or just like reacting in an emotional sense that I may not want to react. I don't want to be triggered by this thing, right? So I'm doing this ceremony to let this trigger go, let this trauma go, let this issue go, so it's not held within my body. And when it comes up, I'm not bothered by it.
That's fire. I've never heard masturbation used in that kind of way.
Yeah.
But I love it. And have you found it helpful for you like over the over the years?
Yeah. Because I just view sexual energy, your sexual organs as such a strong energy provider. There's just a lot of energy in that space.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not talking about just the actual sexual act. I'm talking about the sexual energy and using that energy to basically push out whatever feelings I have. We can all agree energy is real.
Yep.
Now it's all about how you use that energy to benefit yourself. And I feel like sexual energy is such a strong entity. And if I can use that and maneuver it in a way that's beneficial for me, then that's just how I viewed it. And I could use it for a multitude of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be just me masturbating. I could use this ceremony while I'm working out, right? And the strain and the pressure and envisioning it that way.
Yeah.
I just like to use sexual energy because it's so strong, and the feeling of an orgasm and how that data is like is that how that data is registered in your body. Your body remembers that.
Yeah.
Your body holds space for trauma as it holds space for like healing.
Yes.
And so when I'm releasing, I'm envisioning me releasing this issue. And even my co-host has asked me at times, like, where do you hold that in your body? Where do you hold that issue in your body?
I was going to ask you a question like that today too. You beat me to it.
Yeah, so I have to envision wherever it's being held, wherever, not even wherever it's being held, wherever my body tells me it's being held.
Yep.
Even if I don't know it, I'm only envisioning it leaving. And I'm doing that as I'm coming. So so that strong energy is what I use to overcome traumas and stuff like that. But I just remember that it prompts me to dive deeper into that because of the question you asked me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for giving me that
Yeah.
that little credit. Yeah, I'll take credit for that because I think that's so deep though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I I respect it. Like I don't think I've ever heard anything like it, but I guess I wonder how many other people use that method.
It's not used a lot, and I just know it's not used a lot because of how generally we view sex and the importance of sex, right?
Yeah.
And so I view sex as important,
Mhm.
but view sex as important in a healing way,
Yeah.
right? Where most men will view sex as important in a conquering fashion, right?
Mhm.
Overcoming women and getting pussy and all of these whatever, right? So I'm just using that in a sense where it is strong and powerful,
Yeah.
but I'm using it in a positive way. And we don't use masturbation as a healing and we'll hold on to those things. So
Yeah.
uh we can think about like sexual trauma victims, right?
Mhm.
You tend to have a disconnect and with we'll use women as an example, right?
Mhm.
We'll stay in that focus there because they're most likely to experience sexual trauma.
Mm.
And so when you have sexual trauma, you hold that trauma in your sexual organ, right?
Mhm.
There is no process of healing after that because you don't want to associate with that reality.
Mm.
And that's real. And that's real and that's fair. And things like reconnecting with your vagina, reconnecting with your sexual organs, and focusing on that area and focusing on the release of trauma within that area is also important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think there is a lot of I was thinking about like just womb health, like when you were speaking
yeah,
about that, because a lot of times women do hold trauma within their wombs. And I do feel like there's a connection, there's a physical connection there where you say women maybe have problems with like reproductive
yeah,
organs and like cancer and um just like all of these things like endometriosis, PCO, like all of these
right.
things associated around women's reproductive health.
Yeah,
I do think there is a connection there with like
yeah.
mental health, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of times, naturally, like you store things in your body, like even when you said like, where are you feeling it in your
Yeah.
body, right? I
And,
think,
and and sorry to cut you off, but
mhm.
it's not you. Not that it's not you, but it's not only just you. It's your body's reaction to things,
Yeah.
right? So your that sexual trauma and your body holding that in your womb,
Hmm.
right, is protection. Like
Yeah.
it experienced something that it didn't want to experience, you or your body didn't want to experience, didn't consent to, and now it has to protect itself in some type of way,
Hmm.
right? You and your body are shared entities of your physical space, right? Or your physical body, right?
Yeah.
It's you, the way you communicate, talk to people, and live amongst this world, and it's also your body, your mind, your brain,
Yeah.
right? Your brain, depending on certain situations, gives off certain chemicals to give you emotion,
Hmm.
right? Well, it also stores certain information to help you or help it not go through that anymore. So I can
Mm.
understand where you hold in that trauma. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's
Yeah.
why your body holds in that trauma. And I'm not pulling this like out my ass about like the whole like women holding on to these things. I'm
Hmm.
just saying this because one, also I've spoken to women
Yeah.
and my girl and is in like tantra certification, so
Yeah.
we're having conversations about like sexual assault and like how it resonates within your body.
Hmm.
And so that's why this whole masturbation like ceremony to release and let go
Yeah.
is tantric.
Got you.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's something that I made up myself, but it is a tantric exercise. Not saying it's a
Got you.
professional use exactly like that, but the space and the realm of using that energy as a healing in your sexual organs is a tantric type of practice or exercise, right?
Hmm.
And don't call me as it's like, somebody put this on the tantric definition. No, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
using your sexual energy to heal can give you a very strong, powerful result if, of course, done correctly.
Yeah.
And if you're having experiences of like sexual assault and like things like that, doing something where you feel connected back into your vagina. So let's not even use masturbation like men, like jerking your dick.
Hmm.
If you're pleasing yourself and that physical touch and connection, touching your vagina is a big step towards reconnection,
Mm.
right? And then the intent behind it of envisioning something that you want to release
Okay.
while you're having that orgasmic experience, right?
Got
Or
you.
or you're coming, or however you go about your masturbation.
Yeah.
Those are helpful techniques
Mm.
to healing and
Yeah.
healing the womb. And like you said, you have all these complications in your womb, not you specifically, but
Yeah.
women can have all these
Women.
complications
Yeah.
in their womb, and doing these tantric practices and exercises help that release and that let go.
Interesting. And thank you for sharing that. And I wonder how it manifests for men, right? Because I know we're focusing on women, right? But if, say, a hypothetical scenario from a young boy or a guy growing up experiences sexual assault, how do you think that would manifest for him? Like, would it be the penis would be like where the trauma is held, or does it manifest in other ways? Do you know that?
I don't. So this is not to say that it's held if there's sexual trauma that is going to be held.
Yeah, right. Not automatically.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that it's wherever it's held.
Yeah.
It's the ceremony of envisioning the issue, right? Reconnecting at the area where you feel like there's a disconnect or assault or trauma has happened.
Right.
Right. And then having a practice to where when there is a release, you're also envisioning that release leaving your body, that trauma leaving your body.
Okay.
I'm just using masturbation because because I believe sexual energy is so strong.
Got you.
And it can be so healing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not about specifically where it lands physically.
Got
right?
you.
It's about where it lands energetically for you.
Got it. Fire.
I try my best.
You first of all, Orlando came in here on fire. I'm like, dang, we didn't even get to do the check-in. I didn't get to see check-in of how is the check-in.
Yeah.
How is your mental health currently in this moment? How are you feeling? How's your mental health been today? Just overall, how are you feeling?
My body's mental health is very good. I'm back home, back in New York. I've seen a bunch of people. A lot of people have hit me up just like chilling, hang out, and just feeling wanted. Always feels good. But my body's feeling really good. Me personally, I'm a little bit stressed. Only not bad stress. I'm stressed, work stress.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot I got to do this week.
Yeah.
My girl has a book coming out.
Nice.
Good Mom's Guide to Making Bad Choices. So we're on a little press run in New York right now.
And shout out to Good Moms, because I definitely tuned into the pod. I'll be tuned in. Okay. I'm not a mom yet, but I do watch the podcast just because one day I hope to be a mom.
Yeah.
So I think it's just good. I love just their like them as like best friends. I love their energy together.
Yeah. You feel it.
I feel it. Like it's authentic, it's genuine. And so shout out to them. Maybe one day could connect, get them on the pod.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Don't worry. You keep on. That's that's the great thing about podcasting is that you keep at it, you get into that space. And literally all you got to do is just keep on going.
Keep going.
It's this consistency that gets you there.
Absolutely. And I think I love that too, because I feel like I have, like, just since I had you on, there's been a lot of growth with the pod, and just kind of just surprising to me, because I think I just started podcasting and talking about mental health because that's my field, that's what I'm passionate about, not necessarily expecting to make all of these brand new connections, but I think that's a part of just being in this space, and I love it. I just love the conversations that are happening. I feel like there's a lot of podcasters talking about like good things that can like be helpful for just life and just wellness, and so I'm here for it.
I love it too. So yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to the Good Moms in their book and everything that they're doing over there.
Period.
Yeah, shout out to my baby.
Yeah. And so, okay.
Oh wait, so how are you? How you're checking for you? How are you? How's your mental health?
Thank you. How is my mental health lately? I feel like it's been good.
Yeah.
I think it's just a standard good. Like no complaints, no bad, no extra good. I think work's been good. Because a lot of times when work is not good, that affects me.
Yeah.
But work's been good. I am a therapist. And we were talking about that early on because we haven't really got to catch up on like where I'm at now, but I am working as a therapist full time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And my caseload's been building up. So far I love my clients. And I think overall I'm just good. I mean, I'm single as hell. I do want a partner, and so I think a lot of times like when I do feel anything emotionally, it comes from just this dating pool being very trash. Yeah. So like lately, that's been a thing that me and my homegirls have been talking about. Like, how can we like, and I'm gonna be traveling in the next few weeks, but I'm like, I definitely think like maybe my boo, my husband, my future mate and partner is not in New York.
Yeah.
And so I think like just the thought of like meeting my person makes me excited. But then at the same time, like having to date to get to that person frustrates me.
Yeah. It's funny because not meeting my person always kept me excited. Yeah, because it's easier to meet your person after you haven't met your person multiple times. And it's because now I have one less person to look at and worry about.
Got
Now,
you.
if I'm looking for my person and I see like 10 people in front of me, right? I don't know which one's my person.
Yeah.
But if I've dated 7 of them and none of them worked out, now I only got 3 people to think about. Now I've just like broadened my chances. So everybody, I understand why people feel the dating pool is shitty,
Yeah.
right?
Well, specifically for Black women,
Yes.
I think
we
it's
ain't talking about no other type of woman right now.
oh right. I feel like it's hard for
Mhm.
us, especially when you're a Black woman who has her shit together. You're about your business. Like, I mean, not to sound like
Fellas, it's hard for you, period. And I understand there's not an excuse you got to make for it. I understand wholeheartedly it is hard
yeah,
for you, period.
period.
I just also understand that finding out more people aren't meant for you brings you closer to finding who is meant for you.
Love that. Yes, that's true. That mentality, I think, is what will keep me going.
Yeah.
If anything.
So I just say like that's just what keeps it exciting because
Yeah.
I'm getting one step closer.
Yeah.
Everybody that hasn't worked out for me only meant that I was getting one step closer to the person that is meant for me.
Exactly.
So I mean, the dating pool is the dating pool, but it's what you also make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, that's my check-in.
Mhm.
And yeah, I wanted to get into some of these questions that I actually got from this app. It's called the Sanctuary app. Just a little bit behind it. The creator of the app basically kind of collaborated spirituality and mental health together.
Yeah.
And kind of
Oh, that's my joint.
yes, and kind of just curated these kind of like it's kind of like game questions you could do
Yes.
like when you're with your friends, whatever. And so
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Stick to it.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I'll start off with the first one because I wasn't sure if I was going to jump around. I'll start off with the first one. What color do you feel like best describes you and why?
Black.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that color best describes me because it's one of the most beautiful colors out there.
Yeah. I feel that. I know that's right.
I don't know if color necessarily has like a definition to it, but I hope that I don't know when people see me and they see a color, they see the vibrant color of black.
Mm,
Yeah, and I don't think people view black as a vibrant color. They view maybe yellow, orange, those bright colors, right?
yeah.
But the person that views me and sees black as vibrant,
Yeah.
that's a very special like view that they have. There's very special eyes that they have. And so
Hmm.
if they have special eyes, they can see somebody that is special,
I love
which is
that.
me.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And for me, mine would be green. Green
Mhm.
is my favorite color. Green is also a color that symbolizes mental health. That's
Oh yeah?
the color that they use
Nice.
for mental health.
Mhm.
And it's also the color of money. Like we gotta get to it somehow.
Yeah.
So I think like I just love green.
Yeah.
So if
I do like that you said green because green and gold
Mhm.
immediately makes me think of currency.
Mm,
And I've been working on my relationship like with money. And I feel like
mm,
black people don't have a good relationship with money, how we
yeah,
speak about money, how we interact. And I've been working on having a better relationship with money
love
and
that.
wanting money in my life in like a more healthier way than I've had it before.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. I love that. And I feel like I'm in that same boat. I'm like, God, like I love to spend money and I'm
yeah.
trying to save. Like I really want to save because there's all these things that I want for my future.
Mhm.
And that's hard. That's been a hard thing for me too lately. And also green just being a representation of nature,
Yeah.
right? I
And
think
that also too.
like
Mm.
like I'm a big plant lover.
Yeah.
I feel like the earth is, just the grass, the trees. It's one of the
Honestly,
most beautiful.
it is the most
Mhm.
beautiful and it is what it is like
Mhm.
I've been thinking about this recently and just think the thought of the earth taking billions of years to
Mhm.
be made just like slow cooking in the oven of the universe
Yeah.
is one of the most divine things to think about because I
Mhm.
can't live billions of years,
You're
so I
right.
have to now fathom the thought of something that's way beyond me and then accept
That part.
that shit is crazy. But I think that's why I view nature as like such a beauty in itself.
Mhm.
Damn, I was gonna say something else, but continue.
Okay.
Oh. Also, fun fact: black, green, and gold is the colors of the Jamaican flag, and
Boop,
it's
boop,
the
boop.
only flag that doesn't have red or blue in it in the world.
Period. And I'm I'm Jamaican.
I was born in Jamaica.
Oh, boom, boom, boom. I love, you know what? I think I knew that back then. I'm trying to remember. I might have forgotten it for a second.
Yeah, it's a fun fact I like to throw out there.
Love
Because a lot
that.
of people don't know that.
I'm like, Jamaica, that's my homeland.
Yeah.
Like, anytime when I've gone back to Jamaica, it's always felt like this is where I should be all the time.
Your body, it resonates. That area resonates with your body.
I relax. Like, I literally feel like
I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel it. I
Mhm.
know. I know.
Yeah. And when did you come here from
It's
Jamaica?
like 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. Yeah.
Got you.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. All right. And so the next one, what has your internal dialogue been like recently?
Oh, well, this is a good question because, and I laughed because I don't have one dialogue, right?
Mhm.
And so on my podcast, Menage a Mind,
Yeah.
with my co-host Max Stanley,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we discussed is how I have a council in my head.
Mm.
And this is basically a council of Orlando that's always constantly speaking to each other and figuring things out for
Yeah.
myself.
Right.
Right. And that's kind of like my way of like being sovereign and being myself at all times. It's because
Yep.
I always check in with myself, see what I'm talking about, sit with myself, have a discussion with myself.
Mhm.
So the dialogue has been just a lot of chitter chatter on how I can effectively get through this week, this
Mm.
like work week.
Yep.
Then emotionally, how can I get through this week with like seeing who I want to see, seeing seeing friends and stuff like that, and just making the most of this time.
Right.
So, and other than that, my dialogue with myself has been to be in a space where I can comfortably raise a family,
Mm.
like very comfortably.
Love it.
So that's why I had to improve my relationship with money
Got you.
and have a better situation there mentally. So yeah, that's been the dialogue. Dialogue has been get money, get your mind right,
Mhm.
and always have a good time doing it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love that. And as you were talking, I was trying to think of, what mine has been lately. I think it's been a lot of just like shifting my perspective and
Yeah.
shifting my mindset on certain things. I think we even before we started recording, we're having a little discussion about, just mindset, right? And
Yeah.
like being more optimistic, shifting, something that may feel negative,
Mm-hmm.
shifting, like when I say it out loud,
Yeah.
shifting it to a more positive thought or,
Yeah. Change your perspective.
reframing it,
Honestly.
right? And I think like lately, I find myself doing that a lot. Like in those quiet moments when I have like just like time, like when I'm not working, when I'm not speaking to
Yeah.
a client, when I'm not doing a podcast, like it's like, okay, thoughts just pop up here and there. And I'm like, where's that coming from? And then I
Yeah.
have to just reframe it, shift it, and not sit in it. Right. And so I think that's been my dialogue or my internal dialogue lately.
Yeah.
So
It's funny. Oh, we're talking about like shifting in perspective and stuff like that. I was just having a episode podcast episode with my co-host
yeah.
today, and he was saying how excuse me, we were talking about like value and things like that, and I was saying, if you value yourself and how people value you, you should put yourself in a certain position that you feel valued, right?
Yes.
And he was saying that people will stay in relationships where they don't feel valued and hope that it gets better,
Yeah.
right? But when we tell people, you should leave situations for things that value you or is meant for you, it makes people feel like, oh, there's no hope, right?
Mm.
And what I told him was that actually I feel like telling people that they should move on from a situation that's not meant for them is hope. Because I'm telling you to leave something that's comfortable
Yeah.
and have patience for something that's actually meant for you. You
Right.
need to and I don't have an answer on when that's gonna happen, where
Mhm.
it's gonna happen. You just have to sit there and hope it's gonna happen.
That part.
I've just given you hope by telling you that you can leave the situation that's not meant for you.
Exactly.
That's hope, and that's how you shift the perspective. Because you
Mhm.
tell people, I honestly feel you tell people, oh, that relationship isn't working. I can tell you that if you leave, that something is gonna come by that's better for you. You're
Mhm.
gonna take the knowledge from this relationship, learn from it, advance, upgrade, whatever the fuck you gotta do to be in a situation so that the person that values you is meant for you is gonna be there for you. And
Yeah.
if you stay here, you're probably never gonna get there.
Mhm.
And so Mac would say, like, when you tell people that harsh truth, that they feel like there's no hope. And I was like, no, telling people that harsh truth is giving them hope.
Right. Right. They may not see it yet, but sometimes you got to show it to them. Like, no, actually, like
Yeah.
it's not dark. There's light here. You
Yeah.
know, like because sometimes when people are in something too,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard for them to see anything else.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, perspective is all things that like philosophers give us.
Yeah,
It's literally just change your perspective.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, thank you for that.
You're
And
welcome for that.
and where in your body do you typically feel tension or fatigue? Which was that came up a little bit earlier, and I was like, ah,
So this is a. I don't want to ramble on this too much. I do feel it sparingly throughout my whole body,
okay,
and I say that to say that instead of hypothetically, let's use my thigh, right?
hmm
Say if I have this traumatic experience, and instead of trying to, if it was being held in my thigh, right? I try to envision it spread out through my whole body,
yeah,
right? So that I'm not just focused on not having a whole working thigh.
mm,
Instead, I've spread it throughout my whole body, so my whole body can feel
got you.
this trauma or this emotion or whatever it's feeling,
hmm
and then I can assess how to treat it because I'm feeling it throughout my whole body, right? If I'm
hmm
just focused on like just this thigh, maybe I'll just like try to fix this thigh. And this thigh might not be the root problem. It might be my hip, it might be my hamstring, it might be my calf, right?
Yeah,
But if I can feel out throughout my whole body, then I can get to the root of the problem easier. This is just how I envision it.
got you.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that's how like things sit in my body. But things don't necessarily sit in my I say that to say that, but things don't necessarily sit in my body because I'm constantly giving time to myself to heal and push out like whatever doesn't need to be there.
Got you.
Right. So
Love that.
I've actually been having this conversation recently with, you know, so much going on in the world, like people aren't giving back to themselves like
Yeah.
they think they are,
hmm
right? And so I was giving putting it in the like the example of when people are working out, right? This might be a bad example, but people are working out, they might work out for 5 days and like the next 3 days on the weekend, they're eating like trash,
Mm,
right? And it's very detrimental to your progress,
yeah,
right? We all know that.
absolutely.
That's we can all agree with on that, right?
Yes.
So I'm a personal trainer, and what I would tell my clients because I know my clients are lying to me. I know you're fucking lying about what you're going home and eating. So what I would tell them is instead of having a whole cheat day, just
Yeah.
have a cheat moment, right?
Okay.
If you're gonna work out the whole day or have a workout, but you're gonna go home and have a whole 4 bars of Kit Kat,
hmm
right? And have a negative experience on your body that's not helpful to your workout.
Yeah.
Instead, go back and have 1 bar of Kit Kat. If you feel that craving, you
Right.
really need it, have that 1 bar, right? And
hmm
let it subside. And then as time goes on and the days goes on, maybe you feel that craving again, have 1 bar,
Yeah.
right? By the end of the week, what have you done? You've had that whole thing of
Yeah.
Kit Kat, that
hmm
whole package of Kit Kat, right? And so the example of what I'm trying to get at is I give time to myself a little bit throughout the day.
Yeah.
So at the end of the week, it's accumulated.
hmm
So when things happen, like say if I give myself 1 or 2 minutes, 1 minute per hour, right?
hmm
It doesn't seem like a lot,
Yeah.
but after 60 hours, I given back to myself a whole hour.
Yeah.
So I've given 59 hours to the world and a whole hour to myself.
Right.
By the end of the week, I've given more to myself that I couldn't have given at one time.
hmm
So that 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes throughout the day, every day, by the end of the week, I might have given myself 3 hours of
Yeah.
just me time for me.
hmm
I might not have been able to do that if I just congested it into one day. I
Exactly.
might not have been able to do that if I waited until if I held in all this trauma
hmm
or all this stress or anxiety or whatever the case, and then do it at the end of the week. So
Yeah.
what I do is I give back to myself 5 minutes here, 1 minute here, so that my body registers that
Yeah.
as like me time, me time, me time,
Absolutely.
and I'm able to assess whatever is going on with myself
hmm
at that time instead of waiting and
Right.
pushing it off and pushing it away. But we don't have like 1 hour at a time. So I give
hmm
myself those 2 minutes. All right, I'm gonna come back to this.
Yeah.
Let that shit sit with my body,
hmm
register that. All right, I'm gonna come back to that.
Love
And,
that.
and all of this is really just sitting and talking to myself,
hmm
talking to myself, listening to myself,
hmm
and just going about it that way. I'm not doing anything special, and it not being special means that anybody can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So we can all heal.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's fire. I wish we could snap for that actually. It's the one hand stuff for me. You know what? But I love that though. I feel like you've been just dropping gems all through.
Yeah, I'm a gen dropper.
Mm-hmm. And what does mental health stigma look like and feel like for you?
Mental health
Stigma.
define stigma.
So stigma is anything that has maybe a negative connotation associated around it. It's something that would fall under maybe like taboo, not something people feel necessarily comfortable talking
Okay.
about. Um
All right. I think I got one.
mhm.
There's nothing else that can do the work for you but you.
Mm.
So you can go to therapy. Honestly, you can go. You can use Sage,
Mhm.
Palo Santo. You can get natal chart readings. You can talk about it as much as you fucking want.
Yeah.
If you yourself aren't doing the work when you're by yourself, solely, only you alone, with no help assistance, right?
Mhm.
If you aren't doing that work, then everything else that you do isn't going to work for you.
Mm.
So if you're just going to your therapist to just chat and just have talking, you can talk about. Actually, I'm gonna take back therapy, because actually going to therapy and actually going there and speaking on something is doing the work.
Yeah.
But if you're going and bullshitting,
Right.
right, and you're not really sitting with yourself and knowing what the truth is and telling this professional so they can give you their professional advice and feedback, then no, you're not doing the work. If you're just burning sage because you want negative spirits to not be in your house, but that toxic relationship that you're still in is still there, then no, you're not
Ooh.
doing the work.
You talking? You
Right?
hear
If you
that?
So I think that we like to indulge in a lot of things that can help us and don't realize that we can always just help ourselves, and
Yeah.
everything else is there to assist
Mhm.
you helping yourself, not to
Absolutely.
help you or to heal you.
Yeah.
The healing is just you doing it. Everything else
Absolutely.
helps you.
Mhm.
I like to view it as going to the gym,
Yeah.
right? I can go to the gym and I could just
Mhm.
curl my hand like this, right? I can go do push-ups, right? Or I could do a bunch of things that's just my body, right?
Mhm.
But going to the gym and doing the workout with the weight, with the sage, with the Palo Santo, with the natal chart reading, with whatever, with
Yeah.
astrology, how doing the work and then adding on something to help me is
Yeah.
what helps. Nothing else does it for you unless you're doing it for yourself, by yourself.
That part.
And then figuring out what that looks like first is what doing the work is.
Got you.
After that, everything else is just meant to help you.
Love it. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank
And
you for asking me to share that.
Mhm. And how does your culture
Mhm.
and or faith community understand mental health currently?
My culture. I think my culture has grown into understanding the importance of mental health. I think that's how my culture is viewing it. That they have grown to see the importance,
Mm.
not necessarily that it's the most important or it's necessity, but they've grown there, and that growth is amazing in itself. And
Mhm.
that's where I can take what I can take from what they're giving.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's like, I want you to view it as it's one of the most important things. But if growth is what you're giving me, that's what I'm taking. Repeat the question one more time.
Yeah, culture and or faith community. How do they understand mental health? And when you mentioned culture just now, are you talking about your Jamaican culture?
It's about Black people in general.
Black
That's my
people.
culture.
That's the
Yeah,
culture.
I was just
Yeah.
going with that. But my culture is growing, and that's what makes me happy.
Mhm.
Faith community, faith community, faith community. I'm not sure. Not sure if well,
You identify with the faith community?
is identifying with a faith community identifying with a religion?
No, it doesn't have to be it could be spirit, whatever spiritual
Okay. Well,
practice
then,
group.
my faith community has a very similar, I guess, views on mental health and stuff. Well, it was mental health was the question about, right?
Yep.
Yeah, on
Mhm.
mental health and stuff like that. We just say all the words differently, but
Mm.
we're all coming back to the same shit. So
Yeah.
I could tell somebody like, be yourself.
Mhm.
Somebody else can say be sovereign.
Mm.
Somebody else can say, if anybody else is in the room, do what you want to do. Be selfish, right? There's just
Yeah.
all different ways of saying the same thing. So
Mhm.
that's where like my spiritual like community is at with it. I'm surrounded by people with the same ideals, the same viewpoints as far as like mental health.
Yeah.
We're all just speaking different languages.
Got you.
Not literally, but we're all
Yeah.
just saying it in different ways. And
Mhm.
so that's where I'm at with like the spiritual side of like
Mhm.
yeah, the
Yeah, the spiritual.
the spiritual side of
Mhm.
the people in that space around me.
Yeah.
And I how do I explain this? I the fact that we're all different, right? But with the same mental goal
Yeah.
is what makes me happy about like the people in my space. Because
Mhm.
the way you view healing spirituality may be different from me,
Yeah.
right? But I don't need you to say it exactly how I am. I don't need you to do it exactly how I am. I can appreciate you and everything, but I like people around me with the same type of mentality, but
Mhm.
going about it different ways.
Got
So if
you.
I have somebody that's fucked up around me, but they're honest about themselves, I have somebody that's honest about themselves,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I like around me.
Mhm.
So it might not be the way that I want it to be said or done, right? But we have the same mentality
Got you.
of being yourself, of
Mhm.
being sovereign, of viewing that the power is within you, right?
Mhm.
All said different ways, all viewed different ways, all communicated different ways, but it's the same mental space. So
Yeah.
that's as far as like mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is kind of like an additional question to that one that we
Mhm.
were just speaking about is what are some ways that the cultural practices or customs help to boost your sense of mental health?
Um It helped to boost my sense of mental health by realizing the absence of importance in it.
Can you elaborate on that?
Um, Basically, people not seeing the importance of talk therapy, me being one of those people, not seeing the importance of talk therapy, the importance of healing spaces, the importance of healing tools and stuff like that. Me seeing everyone not viewing these things that are said to be healing as important,
Mhm.
right? But also still not having a solution to what the fuck they're going through
Mm.
in itself. So it's like, you're telling me that this doesn't work, but you don't got to answer for what works anyway.
Got you.
Yeah. So that yeah, that's the answer to that.
Got
Like seeing people not have an answer, but also like denouncing other things that are said to be answers, and then me going over and like experiencing and feeling like, oh well, these things are helpful
Mm.
and actually helpful.
Got you.
That made me, I guess, view the importance even more
Got you.
because there's a lack of it,
Got
and
you.
it actually is helpful.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Can you read me that question one more time? I kind of like it.
What are some of the ways that your cultural practices or customs help to boost your sense of
Mm,
mental well-being?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
the answer.
it almost sounds like it like because of customs or cultural practices and seeing people maybe
Mhm.
like fail,
Yeah.
it's almost was counterproductive for you, but then you
Mhm.
were able to
Yeah.
find within that
Absence.
rupture,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Or
that rupture is that's a good word.
yes.
It's kind of like if I was living in the hood. It's 444 by the way. Manifest numbers. It just changed. If I was living in the hood and I was living in a food desert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go become a nutritionist to
Mm.
help the people in my community.
Yeah.
There was an absence of this, but I knew the importance of it and how good
Yes.
it is for my people. So I went and became a fucking nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw
You
I
saw
saw
them.
that, right?
Yep.
And so that's how I view spirituality, healing, and stuff like that. I
Mm-hmm.
saw that there was an absence in healing in people
Yeah.
and betterment in people, but I also knew in what I saw and what I view that there was a healing in all of these other things. So
Yeah.
what can I that boosted me to realize that this is important. Healing is important.
Got you.
Right? And you may say that, or the people in my culture may think that, oh, Palo Santo and those things, or honestly, at this point, people are saying Christianity isn't important. Like, and so, and whether their views, I'm not here to like refute their views or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just here to say that there is an absence in healing in my community.
Absolutely.
And viewing that there is an absence made me want to find out where the answers are even more.
Got you.
Yeah.
I like that answer. I like it.
It's a likable answer.
Also, 444 might be the title of this episode, because I'm like that. I always see 444 and 1111.
Yeah.
This
I caught 11:11 today.
This entire week, from last week to this week. So that might be the title.
Yeah, I view angelic numbers as important only after they were told to me that they were important, and after they were told to me, it started popping up even more and easier. So it's like telling me is one thing, right? Because you can tell me if I may believe it and I may not. But if you tell me and I also see it happening, I'm on board, baby. I am on board.
Literally. Like I think the same thing for me. Like people started saying it more, and then I started seeing it more, and I was like, maybe this is like, like I'm just on the right track. I'm on the right path. I'm doing good shit. Like, that it started to feel like this is meaningful. It means something. Yeah. I started to feel that.
And people might think that, y'all just talking about that spiritual magic voodoo shit or whatever. But honestly, if you want to talk about, if you want me to make sense of this, when things are brought to your attention and it resonates with you, your brain registers that. It's like it registers the trauma. Your brain registers everything. It's a fucking file cabinet, right? So your brain registers that. So you, in your spirituality, in your communication, is saying like, wow, these numbers resonate with me. Your body takes that in consideration, and now you're able to view it more.
Yeah.
Because now it stands out more, because what have you done? You said to yourself like, oh, this is a time, a specific time and space where where this specific thing, manifestation, is the most powerful. Yes. Right? And what am I supposed to do under this time where it's the most powerful is to manifest something manifest whatever I'm working on. Right?
Yeah.
Manifestation only works if you're also doing the work.
Right.
Like we were saying just now.
That part.
So your brain picks up on all of that. Oh, we manifesting? We looking out for numbers? All right, cool. Right? So now those colors and that viewing that shape of the number 1 4 times is more apparent to your brain, because you've already told yourself, yo, we're registering this. We need to pay attention to this, right? So your brain registers that, holds on to that. And now when you go ahead and manifest at that time, your brain registers that also. So now you sitting there like, I feel like something's supposed to happen. Pick up your phone, see it's 11:11. Why? Because just like your brain registers like your sleep pattern, it registers when these moments come up. And you start feeling it. It starts feeling different. And then when you see it, and it's like, oh, it's the right time. Now, this is the time where I want to manifest, right? Something that I'm already working on. And now your brain registers again. Oh, we're working towards something. And you're saying it, right? You're using the tools and whatever you have within your body to then register that within your mind. So now I'm saying it out loud. That's another thing your brain registers. Oh, I want to be successful in the therapy field, and I'm saying this at 11:11, right? So now when certain things happen, your brain picks up on it easier. So you're walking by on the street, somebody says therapy, it clicks in it clicks in your mind easier, because the vibrations of that sound registering with your body, which is the word therapy, right? Is more apparent in your world. So hypothetically speaking, you hear somebody say therapy, or they say they need help. You're a fucking therapist. You just made conversation like, hey, I'm a therapist. You help them out. You've just changed somebody's life.
Interesting.
So that's that's the real space of explaining how these manifestation numbers are important and how it registers to your body. And so we can sit here and I've had people come to me like, oh, you talking about that magic shit and whatever. So I was like, okay, well then let's talk about the reality of what's happening, because your body does register things. You can't argue that.
Yeah.
Your body registers things. Your body takes note of things.
Mhm.
And this is what happens during the manifestation time and why it's important for your body and what happens.
Yeah.
So there'll be times where I'll be saying that like, all right, I need to manifest some more money. I'm already working at it, whatever, but I need to manifest some more money because this is what's going on in my life and I need to pay these bills. What I just registered is that my body needs to pay these fucking bills at this specific time and I need money to do it. So what happens when it's time to get up and not be procrastinating, I'm getting the fuck up because my body's registered like, yo, we need to get the fuck going.
Yeah.
Stop me from being procrastinating. I stop myself from procrastinating. I'm now put myself in more spaces where I could be successful financially.
That part.
I'm more successful financially. What just happened? My manifestation came true.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
It.
You got up at 2:22 p.m. and got to the money.
So people and that's right, exactly. You got up and got to the fucking money because you said to yourself, I need to get to the fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens? You having dreams about money, nightmares about money. Your body's waking up in the middle of where's the money? I need to get to it. Like you have that drive and that feel now. Your body's giving off chemicals, adrenaline, stuff like that to keep you pushing because you said to yourself, this is what the fuck I need to do.
That part.
Right? And so this is all mind-body connection.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm saying these things to myself. I'm thinking these things, and your body will sit there and it will pick it all up. That is the reality of the magic of what we're doing with manifestation numbers. So if it's not honestly and truly, it is really not just me seeing the number 444 and then going that those three numbers aligned is going to give me $1 million.
Right.
No. There's a strong presence with the earth being made for billions of years, and why at certain points you feel a stronger sense within your body. And these are the times which was created long ago based on the sun. And so as it resonates, these numbers based on the sun and manifestation, whatever the fuck that I'm talking about right now, the point is, you say these things at a specific time, it resonates with your body, your brain takes note of it, and it picks up on certain things that you have told it to take note on. This is not just bullshit magic. This is the reality of the magic. That's what happens. So that's my TED Talk.
Mic drop, okay? And it's either gonna be 444 or dreams and nightmares, because the dreaming about money and nightmares about money.
Yeah, like something's gonna and so now what do you want to push your manifestations? Do you want traumas to push your manifestations?
Nope.
Do you want it on your own will and power? Do you want to say, like, I have the strength and power enough that when I see certain numbers aligned, that I can speak out to whoever, whatever, the universe, and say these things because my body is going to sit with it and is going to pick up on certain things, and I'm going to be able to indulge and be in those right spaces because it's picking up on these things. You know what's something my body never picks up on? Soccer. No interest, no manifestation towards it, nothing towards it. I'm not working towards that.
Yeah.
So if somebody's having a conversation talking about fucking Ronaldinho, I'm never going to catch it because it's never registered in my body.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking about getting to the money, podcasting space, producing and stuff like that, so when somebody says something when having a conversation about podcasting, I can give an answer.
Yeah.
Because I'm already in that space.
Yeah. You're in
put
tune.
myself there. I'm already in tune.
You're in tune, yeah.
And so it's all about being in tune with yourself and realizing that the power, the magic, the work is all within you.
Yes.
And this is going to go against religious like viewing, but there's not an outer source that's giving you that power. Right? That power is already bestowed within you. I do believe, I'm going to take that back. I don't necessarily believe in God, but I do feel closer to Christianity than anything else, right? Just because of how I was raised, right? But if we're talking about God and stuff like that, I also just do believe that we were just bestowed the power, and then we now have to go and take that power that was bestowed upon us from God and do whatever the fuck we decide to do with it. Right?
Interesting.
Now, I do believe that you're supposed to do good things with this power and this responsibility. And everybody's gonna do whatever the fuck they're choosing to do, but I feel like that's the power that was bestowed with us. If there is a God, I don't feel like I have to constantly call on him.
Right.
I got this. I can do this shit myself.
Interesting. And I just want to preface this by saying these thoughts are Orlando's thoughts.
Yeah.
me and him,
Yeah.
me and him do have differing thoughts. I've talked
Yeah.
about God, and I've had guests come on, and I've talked
Mhm.
about God on a pod, and
Yeah.
so I think it's okay to feel like for us to have differing
Yeah.
thoughts on it.
Mhm.
I definitely do feel differently. I feel like a lot of my like I do just in a similar vein.
Mhm.
I do think that we can tap into what's within us
Mhm.
because I do think that God is within all of us, right? I do believe,
Yes.
personally, what I believe is that we are all God's children on this earth.
Mhm.
So the minute that we tap into the greatness and the power
Yeah.
that's within us, we're tapping into it from
Right.
God. But I think you said something similar, but then it branched off and went in a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
direction, which I think is fine.
Right.
Right.
And that's the thing, because I have a very devoted like cousin who I like to have these conversations with.
Mm-hmm.
And what we say is the same thing. I do say that we have the power. We have she also feels like the power. We have the strength. You can stand. You can sit with yourself. Look within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
She's done meditation before, not in the sense of like Buddhist meditation or other practices of religion, but she has sat with herself, only with herself, close her eyes, and envision something. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raised Christian, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I feel that a lot of the things that I say are very similar to Christian beliefs.
Yeah.
Right? But also I feel like a lot of religions are very similar in the way they go about beliefs.
Mhm.
Very different, but everybody has like a similar foundation.
Yeah.
The only thing I branch off at the end is I view God as an outside entity that I don't need to call upon for the things I need to get done for myself. That is literally the only one of the only things, or the main thing, that I've always disagreed with my cousin is,
Okay.
who do I call upon for this strength and power? Is it this outside entity, or however you view God, God in itself, or do I gravitate to myself and feel like I got this? I can do this, and I can do this because God put me in a position to be able to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, not like, oh, fuck God, that nigga ain't got no power. I got this shit. No, I feel like I can do it because, and when I say I never wanted to sound that way, I just view it as this great entity, this great power, the sun, the space, billions of years of conjuring to get Earth to where it is, whatever it
Yeah.
is, right? I just feel like I got that power and I was let go to figure out how to use that power and responsibility. Yeah.
We talking on here, y'all. We talking. I hope y'all listening. This was good though. I appreciate you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll do one last question before we wrap up, because I know
Sure.
we're getting close to time.
Mhm.
What is your love language?
Attention. Which one of them is it? Which one of those love languages is attention?
There's physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, and gift giving.
It's is it quality time? It's read it to me one more time. Say no
The question or
no,
the
not the question. The
love languages?
yeah.
Words of affirmation, physical touch,
Yeah.
quality time, acts of service, and gift giving.
Okay. It's quality time.
Okay.
But quality time doesn't mean us sitting here and like having a conversation. Quality time doesn't mean us giving 2 hours, 3 hours to each other. Quality time means at the time where I want attention, I'm getting it. Or the time that you're giving me is always more than you giving anything else. Right? And that's what I guess when I say with attention, right?
Gotcha.
So if I were to give an example of this, I was me and my girlfriend were non-monogamous.
Yeah.
Before we're monogamous now.
Okay.
Monogamy-ish. Depends on how nasty you are. Not just joking.
Okay.
So what was I getting at? Qualities. Oh, so one thing I told her, and it was easy to be monogamous because I don't get jealous.
Yeah.
Everybody gets jealous. But I'm not necessarily a jealous person, or I don't get jealous about things where it's like her sleeping with somebody else. If we're both non-monogamous and they're not commitment or agreement, her sleeping with somebody else is not like bothering me.
Okay.
Right? But her sleeping with somebody else when I want attention bothers me.
Got you.
So if you're saying you're about to go have this experience with another person, and I'm saying, hey, I want you to chill with me.
Yeah.
or you're going to do something with somebody else that I feel like I'm down for and I want you to do with me, I have a problem.
Got you.
Yeah. So that's what I
Understood.
mean by quality time. The time you spend with me has to be quality, not a bunch of time spent with me.
Yeah.
So it's what we're doing within this time. What
Yeah.
kind of attention are you giving me? Or are you taking this time to give it to somebody else? So I think that's why quality time and attention is closer to, or more accurate to, what my love language is.
Got you. Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think mine is, my top 2 is words of affirmation and quality time. I think words of affirmation come first though. I like to hear like, I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. Keep going.
Yeah, mine's also words of affirmation, because I
Yes.
call it the sorry to cut you off. I
No,
call
go
it like
ahead.
the good boy syndrome.
Mm.
Like I like to be pat on my head, like, oh, you're such a good boy. You did so good today.
I'm crying. You know what? No,
Wow,
but you know
you're
what?
amazing, Roulette. I love that shit.
I mean, I think what it is for me is a lot of times I'm in my I can get in my head about like, am I doing it? Like, you know, that imposter syndrome sometimes
Yeah.
comes up, and or I know I bust my ass and I work hard as hell, and I don't necessarily look for that, but when I do receive it, it does
Yeah.
feel good, and it kind of just reaffirms like what I've already been doing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, overall though, all of them are our love languages, but it's just the order of importance that
Yeah.
they come in. And I do think that people should take the test like annually, because
Yeah.
it does change depending on where you're at in your life. So
Yeah.
right now yours might be quality time, but a year or two from now it might be physical touch. You might really need that. That might really be at the top of your list. So I do think you aren't stuck there. Sometimes it changes. And so yeah, I think thank you so much for answering those questions. We are at the end. I wish we had more time because I feel like I could keep going.
No, we can. Honestly, I'm a usually 2 to 3 hour conversation.
I'm like, I love this. Yeah, but yeah, before we end, I usually end with like just an affirmation. I call it the affirmation segment.
Yeah.
Where what is like basically, I would like for you to leave us with a quote. It could be something.
I got it. I got it.
Anything
I got it.
that
I know the quote.
go ahead.
You ready?
Go ahead. I'm ready.
What doesn't progress you blinds you from opportunity. Yeah, it's a quote that I came up with when I realized I was staying stuck in like certain situations. And honestly, it is I came up when I was in a relationship and I needed to fucking let go. And I started realizing that this relationship that isn't progressing me is also stopping me from meeting somebody that is going to progress me.
Yeah.
So the longer I stay in this space, the longer I'm not going to meet the person that's going to progress me forward.
Yeah.
So, and it's not about saying that if you stop stop being in this space, you're going to meet this person. It's about if you keep staying in this space, you're going to lessen your opportunity of meeting the person that's meant to be.
Absolutely.
So, what doesn't progress you, and this is work, relationships, friendship, platonic or intimate, this is with yourself and your own traumas and issues.
Yeah.
If that shit is not progressing you, moving you forward, making you grow, you have a limited amount of time on this earth. And if that shit isn't moving you, then it's only stopping you from being in the space that's gonna move you.
Love that.
Yeah. So what doesn't progress you only blinds you from the opportunity.
What doesn't progress you only blinds you from the opportunity. That's fire. Okay. Gem drop. Mic drop. Thank you so much, Orlando. And let the people know where they could find you. Anything you have upcoming, anything you have going on that people should look out for.
Honestly, it hasn't been a year yet since I've started the Menage a Mind podcast. And I find that the first year is very crucial in building a foundation.
Yeah.
So I would like for people to come over and listen to Menage a Mind podcast. Follow us everywhere at Menage a Mind. MENAGEAMIND. It's like saying Menage a Trois, but you're saying mind at the end.
Absolutely.
You're replacing the trois with mind. And I just feel like this is a very important time for this platform because this is where our like foundation is built, right? These are the people that really fuck with us in the beginning. So I want everybody to really fuck with us.
Yes.
Come over and listen and indulge and also talk to us. If you don't know what Menage a Mind is, I record my therapy sessions and I get real life at the time practices, workshops, and responses from my therapist.
That's fire.
So people can hear what it's like for someone to be in therapist, but also for a Black man to be in therapist, and the things that we go through from our perspective, and actually hear that. And then after that, we do solo episodes. So my therapist, co-host, coach Max Stanley, he would do his own episodes from the perspective of a professional.
Yeah.
And I'll do my episodes from the perspective of someone that's healing.
Love it.
And so and it's great because I can also give back to Mac or give back to my guests or the listeners with my perspective, right?
Yes.
And then Mac can also sit there and be vulnerable and say that even as a professional, I'm somebody healing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you can see what that looks like.
I love it.
I say it's like 3 podcasts in one space,
Absolutely.
but it's been an amazing journey. It's been a lot of fun. I've been able to get things off my chest, and I've also been able to see how other people respond to my traumas. I've been able to have people come to me and say, hey, I have this going on. Where can I find somebody professional in this space to help me with this? And so honestly, just having anybody come to me and say like, hey, this was helpful, how can I get more help, is
everything.
That's it.
Everything.
If this is the space, I've created this space for that, for myself and other people, to show that we're all in this.
Definitely.
So yeah, Menage a Mind. It's therapy, wellness, and healing for your mind, body, and spirit by way of affection, intimacy, and sensuality.
Fire.
We make healing sexy.
Y'all do, because I've tuned in. And shout out to Mac. Mac is my guy. I feel like all of my viewers and audience, they know Mac, because Mac has been on the pod a couple of times as well. And Mac is the couples therapist.
He is the couples therapist.
He is the couples therapist.
Let's get it clear.
Gottman level 3 certified, because he gonna want me to put that in there.
Yeah.
Gottman level 3 certified. He sure is, and that's really my guy. Like, that's my friend. He's also, I'm half Haitian. He's Haitian. So, we have that in common. And so I really look at Mac as like a brother in this field. I think we have a lot of conversations about just how we can just progress the space.
Yeah.
And so shout out to y'all for just collaborating in that way.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Orlando.
Yeah,
and did you leave your Instagram where people can
find
you?
Oh, right. Yeah, you can also follow me at WH_Orlando Roy. Yeah, hit me up, DM me if you want to chat, talk, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm here. I'm honestly here to help. I answer all DMs except for spam.
Period. Slide in his DMs, but make sure y'all good, because he got a girlfriend.
and if you're freaky enough, I got a girlfriend.
You know what? Thank you, Orlando. Your Mental Matters podcast, guys. We are out.